Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Ramya with the Midday News. The headlines. G7 summit begins at Schloss Elmau in Germany. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to participate in 2 sessions at the summit today. Prime Minister to also hold several bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the summit. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh interacts virtually with Malaysia's Senior Defence Minister Hishamuddin bin Hussein. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari inaugurates and lays foundation stone of 9 national highway projects in Rajasthan worth over 1,300 crore rupees. President Ramnath Kovind stresses upon remarriage of destitute and widow women and their economic independence. Opposition's presidential poll candidate Yashwant Sinha files nomination papers. Hearing underway in Supreme Court on plea of rebel Shiv Sena leader Eknath Shinde challenging disqualification notices issued to dissident Maharashtra MLAs. Chief Minister reallocates portfolios of rebel ministers. In women's cricket, third and final T20 international between India and Sri Lanka underway in Dambulla. And in tennis, Wimbledon Championship kicks off in London today. Leaders of the Group of 7 G7 began their 3-day annual summit in Schloss Elmau in the Bavarian Alps of southern Germany. The G7 is bringing together fellow democracies for deliberations on important global issues impacting humanity. The 7 working sessions of the summit will focus on various topics including global economy, partnerships for developing countries, foreign and security policy, sustainability, food security, multilateralism and digital transformation. One of the first announcements was a $600 billion infrastructure initiative to help developing countries tackle climate change. The initiative is seen as the West's response to China's massive Belt and Road Initiative, BRI. U.S. President Joe Biden said this is not aid or charity but an investment that will deliver returns for everyone, including the American people and the people of all our nations. He said it will boost all of our economies. China has been accused of trapping low-income countries into unaffordable debts to be part of its trillion-dollar BRI push. EU Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen said G7 is offering sustainable and quality infrastructure and will be listening closely to the recipient countries. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reached Munich yesterday on a 2-day visit to Germany, during which he will attend the G7 summit. Mr. Modi is expected to participate in 2 sessions today that will focus on issues concerning environment, energy, climate, food security, counter-terrorism, health, gender equality and democracy. He will hold discussion with the leaders of the powerful bloc and his partner countries. The Prime Minister will also hold several bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the summit. Earlier, Prime Minister Modi met Argentinian President Alberto Fernandez at Munich on the sidelines of the summit. The 2 leaders discussed ways to deepen the commercial and cultural linkages between the 2 countries. This was Prime Minister Modi's first bilateral meeting on his 2-nation tour. Mr. Modi also addressed the Indian diaspora at a community event at Munich yesterday. Speaking at the event, the Prime Minister asserted that India is witnessing a tech and digital revolution. He said from the largest vaccination drive to public procurement to use of drones in agriculture, India is now moving towards an innovation-led future. Mr. Modi stated that the country is making new records in data consumption, data prices and even digital transactions. The Prime Minister said India has shown that democracy can deliver and has delivered. Mr. Modi said today we can proudly say that India is the mother of democracy.
हम भारतीय कहीं भी रहे अपनी डेमोक्रेसी पर गर्व करते हैं और हिंदुस्तानी गर्व से कह सकता है कि भारत मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी है। लोकतंत्र का हजारों वर्षों का हमारा इतिहास आज भी भारत के कोने-कोने में जीवंत है।
Mr. Modi said the new India is at the forefront of Industry 4.0. He said, be it IT or digital technology, India is shining on every front.
आप सभी इस बात से परिचित हैं कि पिछली शताब्दी में तीसरी औद्योगिक क्रांति का जर्मनी और अन्य देशों ने कितना लाभ उठाया। भारत उस समय गुलाम था और इसलिए वो इस दौड़ में बहुत पीछे रह गया। लेकिन आज 21वीं सदी का भारत चौथी औद्योगिक क्रांति में इंडस्ट्री 4.0 में पीछे रहने वालों में नहीं, बल्कि इस औद्योगिक क्रांति का नेतृत्व करने वालों में से एक है।
The Prime Minister said in India now we have a unicorn every 10 days. 5,000 patents are being filed every month. He said during COVID-19 pandemic, India ensured free ration to 80 crore poor people. He said few examples of the shining new India of the 21st century are GEM portal, which has over 50 lakh sellers, 12 to 15 lakh Indians are booking tickets online, drones are being used to sprinkle fertilizers, and PM Swamitva Yojana has helped in digital mapping of property in villages.
भारत में सरकार ने एक योजना शुरू की है, स्वामित्व योजना। इस योजना के तहत देश के लाखों गांवों में जमीन की मैपिंग, घरों की मैपिंग का काम ड्रोन ही कर रहे हैं। इस अभियान के द्वारा करोड़ों नागरिकों को प्रॉपर्टी सर्टिफिकेट दिए जा रहे हैं। प्राकृतिक आपदाओं के समय, राहत और बचाव के समय भी ड्रोन टेक्नोलॉजी का इस्तेमाल भारत में लगातार बढ़ रहा है।
Mr. Modi said climate change is not only for government policies, but today our youth are adopting pro-climate technologies and sustainable practices. The Prime Minister said with International Solar Alliance, India has given the mantra of one sun, one world, one grid to the world. He said the Indian diaspora across the world are not only India's success story, but also Rashtraduts who are taking India to the world and becoming brand ambassadors for the success of the nation.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today had an interaction with Malaysia's Senior Defence Minister Hishamuddin bin Hussein through video conference. Both ministers reaffirmed the strong defence relations between India and Malaysia and discussed opportunities for both the countries to further deepen the defence cooperation. Union Minister for Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari today inaugurated and laid the foundation stone of 9 national highway projects in Rajasthan worth 1,357 crore rupees through video conferencing. Addressing the event virtually, Mr. Gadkari said 1,100 crore rupees have been sanctioned for the repair of Delhi-Jaipur-Kishangarh highway. This will remove the shortcomings of this highway. The minister said an allocation of 900 crores in Central Road Infrastructure Fund CRIF for Rajasthan and 700 crore rupees for Setu Bandhan scheme has been approved by the central government. He said that the projects would also be in run to repair the roads in the marginal districts of the state like Sri Ganganagar, Bikaner, Jaisalmer and Badmer. Mr. Gadkari informed that 2 harbours would be constructed at Balotra along with Badmer. It would cost around 400 crore rupees. An elevated road will be built in Jodhpur at a cost of 1,200 crore rupees, which will facilitate traffic and get relief from jams. An amount of 1,400 crore rupees is being spent for Jodhpur Ring Road. The second phase of this project will also be started soon. A new expressway is being built from Delhi to Jaipur, which will be completed by December this year. With 2 construction, the journey from Delhi to Jaipur can be completed in 2 hours. These projects include a road project in the Sri Ganganagar district worth 753 crore rupees. More from our correspondent.
These projects will facilitate smooth connectivity to the international border, which is important in many ways. More smooth traffic routes will be available with the neighboring states of Punjab and Gujarat. These projects also include the construction of 14 overbridges on the Jaipur-Ajmer-Byawar highway, which will reduce the number of accidents on this highway. The Union Minister has announced the construction of 25 new bypasses, which will pave the way for smooth traffic in many cities by eliminating the problem of traffic jams. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
President Ramnath Kovind today stressed upon the social support for remarriage of widows and destitute women and their economic independence so that these women can live a life full of dignity and self-respect. The President was interacting with destitute women of Krishna Kutir, a government-run ashram in Vrindavan of Mathura district in Uttar Pradesh. Speaking on the occasion, the President said the country should come forward to stop the ill treatment being given to widows and destitute women. Mr. Kovind said Uttar Pradesh government is helping destitute and widows and has made such ashrams at other places like Gorakhpur, Varanasi and Lucknow as well. On the occasion, Governor Anandiben Patel advocated for the remarriage of those women who became a widow in early age. The women of Krishna Kutir Ashram shared their experiences and thanked the state government for providing all kinds of facilities to them. Earlier, Mr. Kovind also offered prayers at Bake Bihari Temple in Vrindavan. Over 197 crore 11 lakh vaccine doses have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said over 2,49,000 doses were administered yesterday. 17,073 new cases were recorded in the last 24 hours. 15,208 people recovered in the same period. The recovery rate is currently at 98.57%. Total number of recoveries has reached 4,27,87,606. India's active caseload currently stands at 94,420. Active cases stand at 0.22%. Daily positivity rate is at 5.62% and weekly positivity rate is at 3.39%. 21 deaths were reported in the last 24 hours. Over 86 crore 10 lakh tests have been conducted so far. Over 3,03,000 tests were conducted in the last 24 hours. The Health Ministry today said more than 193 crore 53 lakh vaccine doses have been provided to states and union territories so far through the centre's free-of-cost channel and through direct state procurement category. It said more than 11 crore 99 lakh balance and unutilized COVID vaccine doses are still available with the states and union territories to be administered. As part of the nationwide vaccination drive, the centre has been supporting the states and union territories by providing them COVID vaccines free of cost. In the new phase of the universalization of the COVID-19 vaccination drive, the centre will procure and supply free of cost 75% of the vaccines being produced by the vaccine manufacturers in the country to states and union territories.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. G7 summit begins at Schloss Elmau in Germany. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to participate in 2 sessions at the summit today. Prime Minister to also hold several bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the summit. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh interacts virtually with Malaysia's Senior Defence Minister Hishamuddin bin Hussein. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari inaugurates and lays foundation stone of 9 national highway projects in Rajasthan worth over 1,300 crore rupees. President Ramnath Kovind stresses upon remarriage of destitute and widow women and their economic independence. Opposition's presidential poll candidate Yashwant Sinha files nomination papers. Hearing underway in Supreme Court on plea of rebel Shiv Sena leader Eknath Shinde challenging disqualification notices issued to dissident Maharashtra MLAs. Chief Minister reallocates portfolios of rebel ministers. In women's cricket, third and final T20 international between India and Sri Lanka underway in Dambulla, and in tennis, Wimbledon Championship kicks off in London today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
क्या आप कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स की तैयारी कर रहे हैं? आपके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो लाया है प्रोग्राम अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जहां हमें आप प्रश्न भेजते हैं व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करते हैं abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर और हमारे एक्सपर्ट देते हैं आपके प्रश्नों के उत्तर हर शनिवार रात 9:30 बजे। इस वर्ग का विषय है आधुनिक भारतीय इतिहास यानी कि मॉडर्न इंडियन हिस्ट्री और आपके सवाल प्राप्त करने की अंतिम तारीख 29 जून। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
Welcome back to the Midday News. Presidential candidate of the opposition parties Yashwant Sinha filed his nomination papers today. A number of opposition leaders, including Rahul Gandhi of the Congress, NCP Chief Sharad Pawar, Akhilesh Yadav of Samajwadi Party, Farooq Abdullah of National Conference, Abhishek Banerjee of TMC, KT Ramarao of TRS, A. Raja of DMK, Sitaram Yechuri of CPIM were present in Parliament House when Mr. Sinha submitted his papers. Earlier, NDA candidate Draupadi Murmu had filed her nominations on Friday. Presidential elections will be held on the 18th of July and the counting of votes will be taken up on the 21st of July. A vacation bench of the Supreme Court is hearing the plea of rebel Shiv Sena leader Eknath Shinde challenging disqualification notices to rebel Maharashtra MLAs by the Deputy Speaker. Mr. Shinde, who has been replaced by Ajay Chaudhary as Shiv Sena's legislature party leader on Friday, is currently camping with over 40 rebel MLAs in Guwahati. Mr. Shinde has sought direction to Deputy Speaker not to take any action against rebel MLAs regarding disqualification under MLA defection rules. The petitioner also sought direction not to take any action against the rebel MLAs until the resolution for removal of the Deputy Speaker is decided. The absence of 5 cabinet ministers and 4 ministers of state from the state has prompted Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray to reallocate the portfolios which were with them. In a press statement issued by the Chief Minister's office today, it said in order to carry out the works in the interest of the people, besides to take measures if there is a heavy rainfall in part of the state, the portfolios have been reallocated. Consequent to this decision, the Urban Affairs and Public Works Department, which was with Eknath Shinde, has been given to Subhash Desai. Similarly, the additional charge of the water supply and sanitation portfolio, which was with Gulab Rao Patil, has been given to Anil Parab. The Agriculture and Ex-Servicemen Development Department, which was with Dada Bhuse, and the Employment Guarantee and Horticulture Department with Sandipan Bhumre, have been reallocated to Shankar Gadak. Mr. Uday Samant, who was holding the Higher and Technical Education Department yesterday, switched to the Eknath Shinde camp in Guwahati yesterday. As a reason, his portfolio will be looked after by Aditya Thackeray. The charge of MOS Home, Shambhuraj Desai, has been given to Sanjay Bansode. Vishwajit Kadam will hold additional charge of Rajendra Patil Yedravkar's ministry. The additional charge of the department, which was with Abdul Sattar, will be looked after by Prajakta Tanpure.
The flood situation in Assam has now improved considerably due to the good weather conditions. However, situation in Borak Valley is still slightly critical in comparison to other places. Official sources said that over 22 lakh people are under the impact of flood in 28 districts in the last 24 hours. 5 persons died due to floods in the last 24 hours. Relief and rescue operations has been intensified in Borak Valley, including worst-hit Kachar district. Chief Minister Himant Biswa Sarma yesterday visited Silchar to monitor rescue and relief works. 2 ministers, Parimal Suklabhedya and Jayant Malabarua, are camping at Borak Valley to monitor relief works. Niti Aayog today launched a report titled India's Booming Gig and Platform Economy. The report was released by Niti Aayog Vice Chairman Suman Berry, CEO Amitabh Kant and Special Secretary Dr. K. Rajeshwara Rao. Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship Secretary Rajesh Agarwal and Director General National Labour Institute V.V. Giri also attended the event. The report is a first-of-its-kind study that presents comprehensive perspectives and recommendations on the gig platform economy in India. The report provides a scientific methodological approach to estimate the current size and job generation potential of the sector. It highlights the opportunities and challenges of this emerging sector and presents global best practices on initiatives for social security and delineates strategies for skill development and job creation for different categories of workers in the sector. Speaking on the occasion, Niti Aayog Vice Chairman Suman Berry said this report will become a valuable knowledge resource in understanding the potential of the sector and drive further research and analysis on gig and platform work. CEO Amitabh Kant highlighted the job creation potential of this sector, giving rising urbanization, widespread access to internet, digital technologies and smartphones in India.
Senior Indian Revenue Service Officer Nitin Gupta has been appointed the Chairman of Central Board of Direct Taxes, CBDT. A 1986 batch officer, Mr. Gupta is presently working as a member of the CBDT. And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News, Birth of a Nation.
India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember freedom fighter Rajnarayan Misra, who was given capital punishment on the 27th of June 1944. A resident of Bhisampur, Uttar Pradesh, Misra was a Quit India activist. He was involved in the killing of the Thanedar at Mahmudabad, Riyasat on 14th of August 1942. He also took part in a number of acts of sabotage in the district and collected arms incognito for the purpose.
The police declared Rajnarayan Misra an absconder after failing to arrest him from his village and put a reward on his head. He reached Madhya Pradesh under disguise but was arrested for 2 months for taking part in a protest rally.
He spent another 6 months in a Bombay jail under an assumed name for taking part in the movement. Misra was finally identified and arrested from Meerut while staying at the home of a Gandhi Ashram worker. He was brought back to Kheri and was tried under the Arms Act for murder and sabotage.
On the 27th of June 1944, Rajnarayan Misra was awarded capital punishment and hanged at Lucknow jail on the 9th of December 1944 at the young age of 24. AIR News salutes the great freedom fighter.
We also remember revolutionary freedom fighter Ashwini Guha, who died on the 27th of June 1934. Born in 1906, Guha was a teacher at a high school in Chittagong. He was one of the backstage organizers of Surya Sen's group of revolutionaries and aided the revolutionaries after the Chittagong armory raid.
Guha was arrested on the 25th of April 1931 and detained in the Presidency Jail, Hijli Camp Jail and the Midnapore Central Jail. He was declared mentally unstable and unconditionally released on the 20th of February 1934. Ashwini Guha died on the 27th of June 1934. We salute the great freedom fighter. We also remember Nationalist Singh, who died on the 27th of June 1925. Singh was a resident of Jaranwala, district Lalpur, now in Pakistan. He joined the British Indian Army but resigned when he heard of the atrocities committed on the people at Guru Ka Bagh Morcha, Amritsar in 1922.
Mol Singh participated in the Jatha to Bhai Phiru Gurudwara Sangat Sahib, Lahore in 1924 against the British. He was arrested by the police and given rigorous imprisonment for 2.5 years. Mol Singh was tortured in detention and died during internment on the 27th of June 1925 at the age of 40. We salute the great patriot.
We also remember Martyr Marbe Singh, who took part in the First War of Independence in 1857. Singh took part in the struggle for freedom from foreign rule in the Bombay Presidency and also offered arms to the independence activists in his region.
He was caught by the British and tried for sedition and rebellion against the British. He was sentenced to imprisonment and sent to the Andaman Islands, where he died in captivity on the 27th of June, 1859. AIR News salutes the brave son of the soil.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Ministry of Information and Broadcasting organized a special screening of the upcoming film Rocketry, The Nambi Effect at City Fort Auditorium in New Delhi. The screening was attended by Team Rocketry, led by writer, producer and director R. Madhavan, who is also playing the titular lead role and has made a directorial debut with this movie. The screening was attended by former CBI Director D.R. Karthikeyan, former Inspector General P.M. Nair, senior officials in the Government of India and stakeholders from the film industry. The film was applauded by the audience for its script, editing, acting and portrayal of the inspiring story of the life of Nambi Narayan. Rocketry, The Nambi Effect is an upcoming Indian biographical drama film based on the life of real-life scientist Nambi Narayanan, a former scientist and aerospace engineer of the Indian Space Research Organization who was accused of espionage in 1994. The world premiere of Rocketry, The Nambi Effect was held during the 75th Cannes Film Festival. The film received a standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival. Speaking on the occasion, Information and Broadcasting Secretary Apurva Chandra said, "The film is not only gripping but also touches the hearts of the audience."
The Enforcement Directorate ED has summoned Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut to appear before it tomorrow in an alleged money laundering case. The ED had earlier too questioned Raut in connection with 1,034 crore rupee Patra Chawla land scam case in which the ED attached his properties in April this year. NASA has successfully launched a rocket from Australia's remote Northern Territory, making history as the agency's first commercial spaceport launch outside the United States. According to Equatorial Launch Australia, the rocket blasted off at just past midnight local time on Monday from the Arnhem Space Centre on the Tupuma Plateau near the township of Nullarbor. Monday's launch also made history for Australia as the first commercial space launch in the country. In women's cricket, the third and final T20 international women's cricket between India and Sri Lanka is underway in Dambulla. India were 43 for 1 in 6.3 overs when reports last came in. Earlier, India won the toss and opted to bat. In cricket, the second and final T20 international match between India and Ireland will be played tomorrow in Dublin at 9 p.m. Indian time. India defeated the hosts by 7 wickets in the rain-hit opening encounter of the two-match series yesterday. The Wimbledon Championship will kick off today at the All England Lawn Tennis Club in London. World number 1 Novak Djokovic, Andy Murray and Emma Raducanu, Stan Wawrinka and Carlos Alcaraz are some of the big names in action today at the Grand Slam. Novak Djokovic will open his campaign against 75th ranked Kwon Soon-woo of South Korea in the first match. Andy Murray will play world number 77 of Australia, while the Spanish teenager Carlos Alcaraz will open his campaign against Germany's Jan-Lennard Struff. Now let us take a quick look at the weather update for the day. National capital Delhi is expected to have partly cloudy sky with possibility of development of thunder and lightning. Mumbai is likely to have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Srinagar is expected to have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Jammu and Muzaffarabad are likely to have mainly clear sky. Leh and Gilgit are likely to have mainly clear sky too. Hyderabad and Thiruvananthapuram are likely to have generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. In the northeast, Imphal, Shillong, Aizawl and Kohima are expected to have partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. G7 summit begins at Schloss Elmau in Germany. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to participate in 2 sessions at the summit today. Prime Minister to also hold several bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the summit. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh interacts virtually with Malaysia's Senior Defence Minister Hishamuddin bin Hussain. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari inaugurates and lays foundation stone of 9 national highway projects in Rajasthan worth over 1,300 crore rupees. President Ramnath Kovind stresses upon remarriage of destitute and widow women and their economic independence. Opposition's presidential poll candidate Yashwant Sinha files nomination papers. Hearing underway in Supreme Court on plea of rebel Shiv Sena leader Eknath Shinde challenging disqualification notices issued to dissident Maharashtra MLAs. Chief Minister reallocates portfolios of rebel ministers. In women's cricket, third and final T20 international between India and Sri Lanka underway in Dambula, and in tennis, Wimbledon Championship kicks off in London today. And with that, we end the midday news.